Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to use two powerful Excel formulas for tracking duplicates and isolating unused data. Let's dive in. Formula 1, which is used to check for duplicate. Kindly take note of the formula we have on the screen. The purpose of this formula is to identify if value in column B exists in column C, and secondly labels the value as duplicate or not used, so either yes or no. Now let's look at the breakdown of the formula. The first part of the formula, which is the count if into brackets C column C comma B2, this part count how many times the value in B2 appears in column C. Let's take note of that. And the second, also this checks if the count is greater than 0, meaning the value exists. And the third part checks if the condition is true, the result should be duplicate, otherwise it should be not used. So that is the breakdown of the whole formula. Now let's look at some example and its application. Let's say B2 contains apple and column C has apple also there. Now the formula will return duplicate. The reason is that the condition is true. If apple isn't in column C, it means the condition is false, so it will return not used. Now in real life application, this formula is very perfect for things like checking if an item in your list has already been processed, cross-referencing inventory, or verifying data in two columns. Now let's look at the second formula. This second formula builds on the first, and it helps us isolate values that are labeled as not used and ignore everything else. So it's very great for extracting unique or unused entry. Now let's look at it step by step, what it does. The formula will check if the value in D2 is not used. If it is true, it will return the value that is in B2. If it is not true, it will leave the cell blank because it did not meet the primary requirement. And so this is what we have. Now the D2 is equal to not used, which checks if the value in D2 is not used. And the second part of the formula, which is the if B2, this will return the value in B2 if it is true and return an empty string if it is false. Now let's look at an example and how to apply this formula in our real life. For example, let's say D2 contains the value not used and B2 has the value orange. The formula will display orange because the condition has been met. If D2 says duplicate, the formula will display nothing. The result will be an empty string. In our real life application, this formula is ideal when you want to focus only on unused data. For example, you can use it to create a clean list of items that haven't been processed yet. Now, in putting all this formula together, the first formula will identify whether each value in column B is a duplicate or not. And the second formula will extract values that are marked as not used for further processing. Let's look at the practical aspect for this lesson. So this is my Google Sheet. Good. Now I have designed it in this way. Column A, we have the numbering, and column B, we have fresh codes. This was built to assign codes to people who fill a payment form. So these are the fresh codes. This is an assigned code. The status, not assigned. Okay, so let's say I pick a value here, I copy a value here, and I paste the value here, the status here would be duplicate. The reason is that the value in column B is seen in column C. So the status here has to be changed as duplicate. And the second formula says that if the status here is duplicate, it should return an empty string. But if it is not used, it should return the value in column B. Do we get it? Good. So let's look into the formula here. So if it counts the values in C and it finds out that there is a value in B which is in C, it will return the status as duplicate. But if there is no value, it will return it as not used. That is correct. Good. Now let's come to the not assigned. This is where we now extract those that are not used for us to know which of them is yet to be assigned. So if D3, which is the status, is not used, check B3 and bring the value there. But if the value in B3 also exists in C, return an empty cell because the status here is duplicate and not used. Thanks for watching this tutorial. These two formulas are incredibly useful for data validation and management. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more Excel tips and tricks. See you in the next video. Happy Excel